Me commanding the Allens, and Adelmo of the RTK clan commanding the Jutes. I just joined this tournament purely by chance because I saw the announcement pop up on my Steam, and then I thought, what the hell, let's just try a tournament. So I haven't really played Attila much. I mainly do the videos that I spam you with on this channel. But I think I have a fairly good understanding of the game now, and I wanted to try to use that instead of having really good micro or having really good practice with different builds and factions. So, in this first matchup, I'm going to do it slightly differently than I do in the other matchups, because he is the Jutes. I know he can't bring a lot of good melee cavalry. Now, I did mess up this build, because it was a maximum 4 of the same unit. So, I didn't know that. I brought 6 Sarmatian Warband and 6 Germanic Horse, and Adelmo didn't say anything until after the battle was done, but he said he didn't want the rematch because he thought I won fair and square, which was cool of him. However, I did tell him, just for the sake of being nice and playing by the rules, I did tell him I wouldn't mind at all if we replayed this battle, but he didn't want to play it again, or he just said that it's okay, I won fair and square. So very nicely done of him, I think. He could definitely have warranted a rematch, because I brought 2 more Sarmatian Band than I could and 2 more Germanic Horsemen than I could, so I would have had to change my build slightly. It would still be pretty much identical to this, but I would have had to take out 2 Sarmatian Bands and take out 2 Germanic Horsemen. So I'm just going to have it on pause, because this is such a short game that I'm not going to be able to cover all the things I want until the timer runs out, probably. So I bring a fairly large army, the largest army I bring in this tournament, because I want to have a decisive cavalry advantage, and usually Germanic Horse, 6 Germanic Horse will do that against the Nordic Horse Lords. Then we have the Alani General, and he is a good shock cavalry unit, so I should be able to take care of a lot of infantry with him. I want to snipe his Huskarls and his cavalry with my Germanic archers, protect them with pikes. I want to have 2 Germanic Lancers, very cheap medium shock cavalry, awesome units that I can use to support cavalry fights with a devastating charge or devastate his infantry units. And these Sarmatians, if you look at their stats, they are beasts. 57 melee attack, 32 charge bonus, and 53 armor. They are an absolute steal for their price. So, the Jutes brought 2 Nordic Horse Lords on each flank, 1 War Dog. We have 3 Nordic Bows, we have 3 Nordic Spears, and a melee line of, let's see, wow, we have 4 Royal Huskarls. Do we have more than that? No, we have 4 Royal Huskarls. Elite Nordics, Hirdman, Viking Captain, and that's his build. So in terms of a straight up infantry fight, I lose. If I take care of his cavalry, I win. It's really that simple in this matchup. So since he has deployed his strong units in the center, that is perfect for me, because I have a very weak center. I have all my strength concentrated on the flanks. So what I want to do is I just want to start firing at his archers, move out on the flanks with my cavalry, because he can't stop what I have here. There's just absolutely no way. I just need to make sure that I don't get charged by his Huskarls, basically. So I am using Flaming Shot on the Nordic Bows, and the reason why I'm doing that is Flaming Shot is going to give me, not going to give me any armor penetration. But when I use Precision Shot and all my damage is base damage, I have 68 missile damage against the 3 armor of the Nordic Bows. So that is a pretty good way of dealing with low armor archer units. And these archers are not in range of, they are not in range, so they can't return the fire. I'm able to pour in the fire and do a lot of damage to them. So Adelmo has to respond to this somehow. He has to move forward or back. On his flanks he has a massive cavalry force and a massive infantry force rolling in. I'm just keeping this very light center here. He's moving towards my one flank, which is a good idea. So I'm going to pull away my cavalry. I don't want to engage his entire army. I'm going to move my Sarmatians behind my pikes, so I can have the time to bring in my cavalry from this side. And obviously he wants to start firing at my cavalry, but he's taking so much damage from these 200 ranged archers that he's not really able to get in and get the shots off that he needs against my cavalry. So here he's going to move towards my cavalry. I see his dogs. He's probably going to want to send in the dogs, but I'm not worried about the dogs at all. So since he is moving his cavalry here and here, it's now safe for me to move in and take care of his spear units in the center. I'm going to start charging his cavalry, go around with my cavalry on this flank, and already he's starting to become enveloped. Getting a charge here, a good charge with my Germanic horsemen into his Royal Huscarls. And those Royal Huscarls are going to go down super quickly, which will allow my Sarmatians to get in and do a lot of damage as well. Got good charges off here against his Nordic Horse Lords. I might lose that combat, but I have more cavalry incoming. Charging into his Nordic Horse Lords with my Germanics. Still firing on the Nordics' bows to just get them off the field. His Royal Huscarls don't get a good charge. Here they do get a good charge. This Sarmatian warband should just disappear. But I am able to pour fire into his Royal Huscarls. I'm able to do fairly well in these engagements. Got a cavalry unit into his archers, so now I can just pour the fire into his Royal Huscarls. Getting a second shock cavalry charge into a blob like this is always going to be effective. So decent kills on these shock cavalry units. Not great, but they definitely damage the Nordic Horse Lords. Now the bows are off the field. His back is in disarray. I'm able to gang up on his Royal Huscarls here. Plus I sent my general in to attack them. They lost a lot of men. I'm not going to win here, but I am going to hold. So this Viking captain is pulling out, which is a huge mistake. He's actually dying due to pulling out, and then it's just going to be chain route city for the army of Adelmo here. So I would probably eventually lose this fight against the spears, but the Germanic horse are great. They hold for so long, and now it's chain route city for the army of Adelmo. So good kills on the Germanic archers. They fired for a long time. My pikes didn't do anything. Let's see which units actually did something. So the Sarmatian warband getting in, finishing off the blobs, and we'll see which units did what. So decisive victory. Again, too bad that I broke the rules by bringing 6 Germanic horse. However, I don't think it would have affected the results much, and I'll show you why in a second. So some of the cavalry does well, the Germanic archers definitely did well, the Sarmatians overall did well, the archers just didn't do anything, the Royal Huscarls didn't do much, and the cavalry was also outmatched. So this was an instance where I had 10 cavalry units, because cavalry is super important in Attila, and cavalry beats everything that you need to take care of except for pikes. And pikes can be dealt with just by mobility alone, I think. So having a decisive cavalry advantage definitely won me this battle. So what I could do, and what I would have done if we had played again with the same armies, with the Alans, I would still bring the Alani general, I would still bring 4 Sarmatian warband, then I would bring 4 noble Germanic swordsmen, keep in the 2 Germanic archers, keep in the 4 Germanic horsemen, and instead of bringing more Germanic horsemen, if there was a 4 unit max, which there was, I would bring, let's see here, I would bring 4, take out 2 noble Germanic swords, bring 4 Alani horsemen, and keep in the 1 shock cavalry unit, which still gives me a very nice army that is in no way inferior to the previous army. I think very strong build this as well. It would be slightly weaker against cavalry due to these Alani horsemen not being quite as tanky as the Germanic horsemen, but they are still very good medium cavalry. So that's it. First game of the tournament, won that one, so I advanced to the next round. Strength and honor.